Right now, you're fighting a battle against some of the smartest behavioral psychologists in the world, and they're winning. Social media platforms aren't just designed to be useful. They're engineered to be addictive, using the exact same psychological tricks that make slot machines impossible to walk away from. Welcome to The Weird Mind, where we explore the strange side of human psychology. Important note: today's content is educational and shouldn't replace professional mental health advice if social media use is significantly impacting your daily life. If you're struggling, please reach out to a mental health professional or search for helplines available in your country. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the psychology behind social media addiction. From variable reward schedules that hijack your brain's dopamine system to infinite scroll designs that eliminate natural stopping points, discover why just one more scroll never works and learn evidence-based strategies to take back control of your attention. Let's start with a shocking truth. Research shows that frequent engagement with social media platforms alters dopamine pathways, a critical component in reward processing, fostering dependency, analogous to substance addiction. When you receive likes, comments, or shares, the positive reinforcement triggers dopamine release in your brain. But here's what makes this so insidious. Neuroscience research shows dopamine doesn't simply create pleasure. It primarily drives anticipation, motivation, and craving. This is why expecting likes can be more powerful than receiving them. fMRI studies found something remarkable. When people received more likes than fewer likes, there was significantly more activity in the striatum, the brain's reward processing center. Your brain literally restructures itself around social media rewards. Think about what this means. Changes in brain activity within the prefrontal cortex and amygdala suggest increased emotional sensitivity and compromised decision-making abilities. Research shows adolescents are particularly sensitive to social rewards compared to social punishments, which is exactly why you remember the dopamine hit from likes far more than the sting of being ignored. Now let me introduce you to the psychological weapon that makes social media so devastatingly effective: variable reward schedules. In the 1950s, behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered something remarkable. When lab rats received variable rewards, sometimes a small treat, sometimes a large treat, sometimes nothing at all, they pressed the lever compulsively, unlike rats that received the same treat every time. This is called variable ratio reinforcement, where a user knows a reward is coming but does not know when. On social media, users don't know when they'll receive a friend request, like, or comment, so they continue to check in anticipation of the reward. Sound familiar? Every time you refresh your feed or check notifications, you're pulling a digital slot machine lever. Research confirms that social media platforms leverage variable ratio schedules to keep users engaged. The constant anticipation of receiving positive feedback fuels desire to continue posting, commenting, and sharing content. If this psychology is blowing your mind, hit that subscribe button. We decode the weird behaviors controlling your life every Tuesday and Friday. Understanding the science gives you the power to break free. Here's where social media design gets truly sinister: infinite scroll. Research reveals that infinite scrolling is designed to be addictive using a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, the same reinforcement pattern used in highly addictive slot machines. And the psychology behind why this works is fascinating and disturbing. Humans are very bad at stopping tasks during constant action. Studies examining infinite scrolling behavior found that users feel caught in a loop, regretfully elongating social media sessions. Infinite scroll takes away the discrete stopping points that let us reflect on whether we should keep continuing. This removal of natural stopping cues, combined with less effort needed, creates the bedrock of addictive behavior. Think about old-school websites. You'd click "Next page," and that click gave you a moment to ask yourself, do I really want to keep reading? Infinite scroll eliminates that decision point entirely. And here's the neuroscience behind why you can't stop. Dopamine research shows that dopamine levels spike when we're just about to find reward and plummet after we receive it. Evolution uses this chemical cascade to induce anticipation, motivation, and even pain alleviation. The result? Asa Raskin, who invented infinite scroll in 2006, now expresses regret for his invention, with estimates suggesting that infinite scrolling wastes approximately 200,000 human lifetimes daily. Though exact calculation methodologies vary, and these figures remain difficult to verify precisely. But dopamine and variable rewards don't tell the complete story. There's a deeper psychological mechanism at play: our fundamental human need for social validation. The need for social approval and validation is deeply ingrained in human psychology. From an evolutionary perspective, social acceptance and belongingness were crucial for survival in early human communities. Today, social media platforms have become powerful tools for fulfilling these innate needs, with likes, comments, and shares serving as indicators of social approval. Users on social media typically contribute content and expect others to give it a like. Research shows that likes are quantifiable, public signs of status. Getting another person to like one's self-expression elicits feelings of validation, conferring positive status and regard. But here's where it becomes problematic. For some individuals, especially young people, social media validation can become a primary source of self-worth. Research with adolescents found that those randomly assigned to receive few likes during a standardized social media interaction felt more strongly rejected, reported more negative affect, and more negative thoughts about themselves. And these negative responses were associated with greater depressive symptoms. The platforms know this. AI-driven social media algorithms are designed to capture attention for profit, personalizing content and enhancing engagement by continuously tailoring feeds to individual preferences, often without prioritizing ethical concerns about mental health impacts. So how do you fight back against billion-dollar companies and millions of years of evolutionary psychology wiring your brain for social connection? The good news: behavioral interventions like cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness training have shown promise in managing digital addiction. But you don't need therapy to start making changes today. Recognizing that these platforms exploit psychological vulnerabilities is the first step. Social media platforms invest heavily in understanding user behavior, employing techniques from behavioral psychology and gamification. Features like autoplay videos, endless scrolling, and personalized recommendations are specifically designed to keep users engaged. Research on behavioral psychology reveals a powerful strategy. If you only turn on your device every 4 hours instead of constantly, you transform the programmed variable ratio schedule into an experienced interval schedule. You'll still get all the likes, but at a set and predictable time, the power of their ratio randomness is defeated. Turn off notifications. Check social media at scheduled times only. You're removing the unpredictability that makes it addictive. Research confirms that educational programs that raise awareness about risks and strategies, like setting boundaries and monitoring usage, are effective. Delete apps from your phone. Make yourself log in through a browser. This adds just enough resistance to break the automatic habit loop. Our evolutionary process shaped us to need human connections. In a world where we're becoming disconnected from genuine human connection, our brain quickly becomes addicted to the rush of pleasure from social media. And every time thoughts or actions are validated in those systems, the dopamine response becomes more adapted, but also more addictive. Replace digital validation with real human connection. Call a friend instead of scrolling. The dopamine hit from genuine interaction lasts longer and doesn't leave you feeling empty. It's human nature to seek predictability and patterns. When they're absent, we search for them, which is why we pull to refresh. Understanding cognitive psychology shows that rewards aren't guaranteed, and most of the time we don't discover anything remarkable. But in the same way as gambling, we continue to refresh in hope of a quick rush of dopamine. Ask yourself before every scroll, what am I hoping to find? If you can't answer, close the app. Mindfulness breaks the autopilot mode that keeps you scrolling. Now we want to hear from you. What's your biggest social media struggle? How much time do you honestly think you spend scrolling each day? Share in the comments below. Chances are you'll discover others fighting the same battle, and we can support each other in taking back control of our attention. Social media addiction isn't a personal failure. It's the predictable result of billion-dollar companies deploying sophisticated psychological warfare against your brain. Over 5 billion active social media users worldwide exist in 2024, projected to reach over 6 billion by 2028. And research shows these platforms use the exact same dopamine manipulation, variable reward schedules, and social validation loops that make gambling addictive. Here's the empowering truth. Understanding the psychology behind the addiction gives you the power to break free. When you recognize that the just one more scroll urge isn't a lack of willpower, but a carefully engineered exploit of your brain's reward system, you can implement strategies that actually work. Your attention is valuable, your time is precious, and you deserve to control where both go, rather than having them stolen by algorithms designed to maximize engagement at any cost. The next time you feel that pull to check your phone, remember, you're not weak, you're human, and you're up against some of the most sophisticated behavioral psychology ever deployed. But now you know their tricks, and that knowledge is your first step toward freedom. Subscribe for more psychology insights that reveal the hidden mechanisms controlling your behavior, because understanding your mind is the first step to reclaiming it.